Dear learner, welcome to the next lecture of microbiology. Today we are going to discuss rickettsia and chlamydia. Rickettsia and chlamydia, they are closely associated microorganism. They have some sort of similarities, some sort of dissimilarity with them. Now they are little bit different from the normal microorganism. So let us look at the rickettsia first. So if we talk about rickettsia, so these are small gram-negative bacilli. So though they are gram-negative bacilli, but they are having lot of differences if we try to correlate or if we try to compare it with the exact gram-negative bacilli. So these are non-motile as well as they are non-spore forming bacteria. That means they cannot move from one place to another place. At the same time, they cannot go for the spore formation. These are the microorganisms which have adapted to survive within the host cell. So whenever these microorganisms want to survive, they take the support from the host cell and they grow within that host cell. Now rickettsia represent a diverse collection of bacteria. So it is not a single bacteria. So just now what I said, that is they are different from the other microorganisms. So if we say gram-negative bacilli, they are having their own group. That is, if you look out with all those bacteria, they will look like same. But similar in this case, that is in rickettsia, you can find out a diverse collection of bacteria, and because of which they doesn't have a typical characteristics. So some of the rickettsia are adopting some of the characteristics from a typical bacteria, some of they are adapting from a typical aerobic bacteria, some of they are adopting from the typical gram-negative cell. So likewise, you can find out they are the diverse collection of bacteria, which makes it a little bit different group of microorganism. If we talk about rickettsia, example that is rickettsia or rickettsia japonica. So this rickettsia, again you can find out this is not a different genus. So this is only containing one genus, and that is rickettsia. So in rickettsia, if you find out any microorganism, you will always find out that starting from the rickettsia and then the rickettsia japonica or something like this. So they are basically infecting the human being as well as plant. So if we talk about the transmission, it is transmitted by numerous type of arthropod, including chigger, ticks, fleas, and lice. Okay, so they are taking help of these arthropod, that is chigger, ticks, fleas, and lice, and from there they are transmitting themselves from those particular arthropod to the human being or a plant. They are responsible for typhus or rickettsial pox fever or tick bite fever or a Rocky Mountain spotted fever. So these are some of the commonly observed disease which we can find, that is pox fever, tick bite fever or the spotted fever. If we talk about pathophysiology, they basically invade vascular endothelial cell in the target organ, damaging them and producing the increased vascular permeability by which they infect in a human being. Treatment, that is a simple treatment, so they are susceptible for most of the antimicrobial agent, out of which the majority they are used or majority they are basically susceptible to the tetracycline group. Moving to the next, that is chlamydia. So again it is a genus of pathogenic bacteria. It is obligate intracellular parasite having a genome size around 1 to 1.3 megabases in the length. Example, that is Chlamydia trachomatis and Chlamydia pneumoniae. So again, this group of microorganism is bit a diverse group of microorganism, where you can find out most of them we can observe into the sexual transmitted disease. So these microorganisms are basically observed in the sexually transmitted diseases. If we talk about the growth cycle, so they are basically observed in two different bodies, that is elementary body and reticulate body. The elementary bodies, they are basically from a size of 0.25 to 0.3 micrometer in diameter. They are non-replicating infectious particle that is released when infected cell ruptures, and these are responsible for the bacteria's ability to spread from person to person. If we talk about elementary body, where you can find out that is once the normal cell is infected, so in that normal cell they are starting proliferating in that particular cell. Here they are also called as a non-replicating infectious particle, because whenever they are in the system or whenever they are in the cell, they are non-replicating infectious, but as and when they are released from the infected cell rupture, so they become a cause of infection. They are responsible for the bacteria's ability to spread from person to person. If we talk about the second part, that is reticulate body, so these are little bit bigger than the elementary bodies, so that is why you can see the size, that is 0.6 micrometer in diameter. These are involved in the process of replication and growth, and they retain DNA genome, protein and ribosome within them. If we talk about infection, then most common infectious agent, that is Chlamydia trachomatis. It can infect both men and women. Women can get a chlamydia in the cervix, rectum or the throat, while men can get chlamydia into the urethra, that is inside the penis or rectum or in a throat. So symptoms, basically you can observe them, that is abnormal penis or vaginal discharge, then the burning sensation when urinating and pain during the intercourse. Treatment, again it is almost similar sort of treatment for that of we had seen in the rickettsia. So it includes one time dose or maybe a 7-day course of a antibiotic. Again, most of the antimicrobial agents are working against this particular chlamydia. There are certain problems which are associated with this infection which can cause into the human being, that is increased chances of getting HIV and AIDS. So if someone is associated with this chlamydial infection, so there are again chances, that is there may be the development of a infection and which may again lead to the HIV and AIDS. They can also cause pain, fever and rarely infertility. So again, because of this, it is considered as one of the most dangerous infection, and that should be treated immediately as and when observed. So there are certain similarities, there are certain dissimilarities. So if we talk about similarities, so both of them, that is rickettsia and chlamydia, both of them are small coccobacilli. Both of them contain DNA and RNA. Both of them are obligate intracellular parasite, and both of them are susceptible to antibiotics. If we talk about dissimilarities, so dissimilarity in the form of reproduction, where rickettsia reproduce themselves with a binary fission and chlamydia they go with a single phase. If we talk about metabolism, rickettsia with a aerobic mechanism or aerobic metabolism, they are following aerobic metabolism, while chlamydia they are following anaerobic metabolism. And finally, synthesis of ATP. So Rickettsia can produce ATP while Chlamydia cannot produce the ATP. So these are some of the differences and similarity between these particular microorganism. Thank you.